What's up, crypto world? How y'all doing out there? I hope you've been doing okay in the midst of a lot of crazy price action in the last couple weeks that I've been away. I was in Vegas for a week last week. Got back, the family was all sick, so I've been dealing with that, so that's been pretty fun. Of course, when all the fun action comes around, I guess you can call it fun if you want. Well, let's get into it a little bit. This is No Noise Research. I'm your host, Z-Rex. coming at you live on November 21st, 2018. Happy holidays, specifically Thanksgiving's coming up tomorrow, so eat lots of turkey. It'll be awesome. Oh, yeah. I don't give advice alternative thinking, so that's incorrect. But I hope you didn't lose everything. That would suck. I've done that a few times, so you're not alone. And if you did actually listen to the streams, you probably would have been out or hedging your crypto positions below 6150, as we've been hammering that level for a long time as major support. But, you know, again, this is education, you know. Definitely not trading advice. I don't think there's really any YouTube people that you should deem as trading advice. At least that's my opinion, you know. But, again, what the hell do I know? Also, you're probably joking because I don't feel like you would come back into this room. Haha. Anyway, let's see here. Oh, let me turn on live screen before I forget. Yeah, so price action just across the board. Every market you can name except for natural gas and a few others has just been decimated. Equities have been destroyed. Facebook is down, you know, 40-50%. All the fangs are just, I mean, it is bloody everywhere you want to turn. Like I said a minute ago, you know, there's a few things like Tesla, weirdly enough, is flat on all of this. Utilities are still performing good. Yeah, pretty just wild action. I don't think it's super surprising. Everything was a little bit inflated, especially in equities world. But you know, you just gotta be able to change your mind, as we talk about in a lot of streams. Like you don't want to get trapped or married to a position. When price tells you something, you are wrong if it goes against your floor, you know? So, or your support, or your stop. Adhere to it. A good trader told me once, and it's you're gonna be wrong, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Just change your fucking position. And it's very true. It sounds so simple, but damn it, if you trade a lot, you know that it's a hard game. I don't delete chat logs, alternative thinking. I don't do that. I mean, you're not even really saying anything in here, but I'm saying it out loud, so there you go. It's recorded. I don't know, I got nothing to say. Oh, I got plenty of things to say. If you know me or listen to this stream often, you know, sometimes I have a hard time shutting my dang mouth and rambling, but that's okay. All right, let's jump into the markets here. Bitcoin dominance still at low 50s. It's been there pretty much this whole sell-off. Actually, it's been there for really the last couple months, just hanging out in the low 50s. Let's go to the global market cap here. The little chart. Oh my gosh, looks lovely, doesn't it? Oh, Jesus. So, as we talked about for a long time, you know, basing around in that 200 to 220 area, which we were just hanging out in. You know, we just broke below that 200 back over here, and it has not looked great since then. Not surprisingly, that was something we discussed heavily, especially when you base right here and price gets accepted over in this area. But you can't extrapolate too much off of this. It's just kind of like a real decent range here. And so let's just go ahead and jump into the main chart, or not the main chart, but the market cap of the list, where we like to start off here. Let's go ahead and take out some of the garbage. And last 7 days, oh, Tether, look at that. It's doing its job, staying around $1. Ripple, as y'all I'm sure have seen, has been doing fairly well. It's been very surprising. I know a lot of people are just like, what the hell, Ripple? There's so much hate for Ripple. I actually kind of like Ripple because everybody hates it, just like Bitcoin Cash. which, speaking of Bitcoin Cash real quick, you know, all that crazy fork stuff, that was really wild. Very different fork than we've had before. I mean, we haven't had one where it was like sole purpose was to like destroy the other one. Usually it's just like, oh, I don't like you, man. This sucks. I disagree. Forking and making my own project. But this time it was like, I'm making this fork to destroy you. I mean, Craig Wright is such a tool. He really is. If he was the real Satoshi, why would he even put all this effort in to try to like take down Bitcoin Cash or whatever the hell he was trying to do? Sometimes I almost think it was like a big marketing thing, you know? Any kind of press is good, right? Especially for sales. And I'm sure y'all heard also about Bakkt getting delayed till next year, citing, I guess, overwhelming volume or some BS, who knows. Interesting timing to say that here at the downturn of the market. Pretty funny. But enough of news. Who cares about that? Let's go. Dogecoin has been holding up fairly well. You can see around 50 sats right here. Only down about 10% in the last 7 days. But other than that, Ripple, Dogecoin, Stellar maybe. Everything else has just been absolutely a murder fest. I'm sure if y'all watch other YouTube videos, these guys are... yeah, no problem. Alternative thinking. Yeah, if you watch all these other YouTubes and stuff, I mean, these guys, they are... Capitulation is setting in, but... I don't think we're quite there yet, and let's go ahead and just jump into the chart and talk about that a little bit. Here we go. Price action. Let's go to the daily. Let's put it on our Bitfinex chart that we like to look at, and we have. So finally, after all of this consolidation in this big green box, it ended up being the big 50 sat. That's right, Transfix. I know you love that Doge. So here we are in this sideways box. We finally broke out of it with the volume and everything right here, as you can see down on this bottom part. Right out of the box. Finally did it. It was pretty brutal. Very swift, too, after it got started, after this initial candle of closing a daily at 5,900. And that was a really good sign of, dude, that's it. We've talked about it a lot in the stream. We break that 6150-ish area, and definitely outside of this box. Rally's over, done, and getting close to this red line. That was your last major support, and now it's going to be probably major resistance to the upside. That's why I left it on there. But as you can see, since we broke that 54 after the 61, there's just been absolute carnage. Just blood everywhere. People are freaking out. They keep trying to want to buy bottoms, but I still don't think that we're out of the woods yet. If you look at, I guess you could say, I wanted to point this out real quick. Let me take off all the indicators. As y'all know, 21 and 55 is some of my favorite exponentials. And if you look here, we had this little, we talked about it too. It was that 25 or 65, I'm sorry, the 6501, just barely getting over that 6,500 level. Now, I think that was the last video I made, that was like really lackluster and didn't really like it. It met, very next day, met with a engulfing bearish candle right here. Let's take off some of this data so you can see this candle better. Met with a engulfing candle pretty much right after that. I'll go to big screen here. Right after that, so that just negates it and was saying, and closed below the 21. That was pretty much saying, hey guys, watch out. Be careful, please. And then consolidating for 5 days underneath the 21 exponential. Am I nervous? No, not at all. Because just like I said in my streams, I shorted and covered all of my crypto holdings when this broke down. After it broke out of this box, just like we talked about forever. So, nope, not nervous at all. This is actually, if you've been listening to these videos, I've been wanting this to happen pretty much since I started this. It just took forever. I'm not saying that I knew it was going to happen. No one knows shit. But just pretty funny, too. We get to the apex as well. Let me draw that because I actually took that line off. I mean, look at this. Like, almost to the perfect apex of this triangle formation. Or even if you want to draw it, you know, I know a lot of people were drawing descending triangles like this or whatever. But still, right towards... I mean, it completed 90% of the pattern. That's pretty rare. But usually... does make it go down to, oh, it feels really bad. Alternative thinking. Didn't like it. Alternative thinking. That must be... I think I know who you are now. There's not many people that know about that position that I had on. Yeah, that red dildo was very large, and my butthole just now is stopping the hemorrhaging there. But anyway, back to some Bitcoin. If you go over here to the hourly too, which we been watching for a long time, if we go back over here before all this action broke apart, you can see that the bears got really good control on November 14th on the hourly, and shortly followed after that, well, maybe, if I'm lagging out here, shortly followed after that too, let me get back to my spot here, getting a little lost in the charts. Yeah, and this was our support zone from the last video. If it broke that, then it was bearish. And look at that, broke it, stayed pretty much below on the lower side of that the whole time, and also was doing that. Man, these big candles just make it hard to see, don't they? Also getting bearish on the 4 hour back over here about the same time, getting below the 21 exponentials, struggling the whole time, except for right here, got a little fake out, just a tiny little fake out, and then immediately was slapped to the other side. But again, if you look at the DMI, how I like to use it, this wasn't really a great, it wasn't even a fake out, because the bulls never even got over the bears down here on DMI, and they never even got close to the power zone. So not huge. Don't sell naked strangles. No, naked strangles are like one of the best trades ever to do. Don't sell naked options if you don't have a larger account is probably the better way to put that, because that naked strangles are badass trades, or strategies I should say. But anyway, again, dailies all below the 55 after this little pretend fake out. I mean, there was plenty of time and warning before this totally fell out of bed, and I know hindsight's 2020, but this is something that we've been talking about for a long time. It wasn't anything new. I mean, you're talking, we broke below that, and then even the 4 hour broke below our massive support at 54, which I said multiple times, if that breaks, I'm going full hedged, because the bottom up until then was a measured move. If you did measure move, this was about to where we are now price-wise in the mid 4,000s. I talked about that in a couple chat rooms I was in, but not here on the stream though. We are on this long-term exponential. This is a longer-term fib that I just added recently. It's a 987, and like I said, these are all just fib numbers, and you can go and look at, just fib numbers. Just Google that and it'll show you the list of all of them, and that is just a longer-term one because I just wanted to get some perspective on that. And let me see if I can actually zoom out on this. Let me delete some of these. All right, and if you go back to on that one, that's when it did briefly break it over here. Oh, where is it? Oh, I can't see it on this. We have to. I'll look at it on Bitstamp. Bitfinex doesn't have enough data. Yes, it was brutal. Transfix. It was really, really brutal. Again, look at this though, guys. We failed at the 618 one more time, so that is 6 for 6 since we've been turning down since the beginning of this year. And now this next one is going to be a doozy, because you're pretty much going to have to run it from about here to possibly here. And look where that 618 is falling so far, is right at the bottom part of this green box. This green box I am going to be deleting right here on this stream because it's irrelevant at the moment. Oh, no phone action. Alright, so let's go over to Bitstamp, because it's more aligned with like the futures and other stuff, and we can see that blue line I was just talking about. Getting a little bit of bounce here. Not too much, little 50 bucks. That means it's going to the moon, y'all. Go all in. That's it. Sell-off's over. And I know this is a busy chart. I need to clean it up here. Hey, don't tell everybody alternative thinking. Come on, man. That's my super secret. You can see here the one time, even when this was rolling over in 2014, it didn't even get below this long-term exponential until right towards the end of the move in the latter part, or actually the very beginning of 2015, where we just went sideways for a long time. So I'm actually looking for some type of capitulation, full capitulation like this, where you get this volume follow through. That's the one thing that we're not seeing yet. Like, there is a lot of volume here, but we're not seeing like these massive volume spikes, or we're not seeing comparative volume spikes to these ones back over here, and obviously back over here to where this dump was. So I still feel like we've got a little I think we have a little bit more downside to go for the flush out. I'm really wanting to see this price action go to maybe mid 3000s on massive volume, like just insane crazy volume, and then it get bought back up like half of that or something in that same candle. That's what I'm really looking for. Yeah, 3K transfix is kind of where I'm thinking too. And it's a tough one because, you know, 3K puts you, it does have nice relative support right over here, you know, to this consolidation action. This is about, you know, high 2000s, so that's like right above it. And it's just really tough right here. I mean, we broke the major trend line forever in Bitcoin right here. I mean, there's not a lot of things to get bullish. I know I've been watching these YouTube dudes the last, you know, since the sell-off started, and they just keep saying, oh, this is probably the bottom. This is the bottom. You know, everybody was saying, oh, mid 5000s, that's the bottom. I just don't see any technicals. I don't see any divergence yet, except for the 4 hour, just ever so slightly. And you have to zoom in like far. Like, look at this. You got November 15th. I mean, it's so tiny, and we're not getting back over the mid part of RSI either. We keep getting rejected right there. So I don't quite think that we're out of the woods yet. You are seeing more divergence here on the DMI, like the bears losing this steam, but other than that, I'm not convinced yet. I'm still holding. I'm still fully hedged on all my altcoin positions. I did take off most of my speculative positions, so I hedged fully when it broke that 54-ish level, and then I added also speculative positions because I knew it was just going to go into free fall. Well, I didn't know that, but there was a very high probability that it was going into free fall to the mid 4000s. And now that we've hit a couple measured moves, we hit the measured move of this bear flag, which also equaled pretty much the measured move from the, and I'm just going to really roughly draw this just since it's off here, and the roughly measured move from this descending triangle, all stacked right here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of consolidate in this area for a minute, you know, maybe through the weekend and kind of just pause. But again, I would like to see more sell-off, like I just said a second ago. That would be beautiful. It would be great. You are getting in the really extreme zones, though, here on daily, on the DMI indicator. We're way up here in the 50s. You can see this is marked by that blue line. That is extreme areas. And at the same time, you can see bulls are in the forgotten zone, is what I'm going to call that now. So the weak zone. Yeah, and you can see that usually when that happens, it's towards the end of the move. You can see right here, even to the bull side, it happened right at the top, right around 17K. Had another, you know, 3K in there and then rolled over. And let's compare it to like downside moves. Let's go here, zoom in, right here. You got this big sell-off. Jesus, my wheel on my mouse is screwy. You got this big capitulation dilly right here, and that's kind of what I was just mentioning earlier. This is what I want to see, just the full-on, holy shit, what's going on? Oh, now I definitely know who you are. Alternative thinking. It's funny. It's a scriptology, I think it's called. They can, like, it's more accurate than iris reading. I'm going to digress just for a second. It's more accurate than, like, reading your iris and your fingerprints. How you write and the words that you use. It's pretty scary, especially considering Google updates the emails that you write like every, you know, freaking nanosecond. But yeah, before I go off on a tangent on that. This is what we're looking for. This just big old capitulation just in your face, and then it get bought up on this massive volume. Let me make the volume a little bit bigger so you can see. Yeah, down here. Something like that is what I am looking for capitulation. Until I kind of see that, I don't think we're quite there yet. But you can see though, when you get up into these 50s area on the daily DMI, it is pretty much the end of the move. It's really damn close. You can see here too, you got a bunch of crazy ass tails in 16 before this big run up, before, you know, the largest run up in Bitcoin's history. Again, we're just scrolling back in time, looking at things above the 50 level. Here's another one. You know, so we are close. We are really, really close. Well, I don't want to expose you alternative thinking, you know, that's not my style. But yeah, I mean, it's really, and that's, here we are now, and we even extended it one more, so it's getting super, super up there. As long as the RSI, along with the RSI as well, getting just completely murder fest. It's like, let's open this up. It's like 10. I don't even remember the last time I've seen it at 10. Like back here, I guess, back in 2015. Even back over here in the big 2014 sell-off, it never even got to 10. So we definitely are at extreme. And at the time, this is interesting timing with the Bitcoin Cash war bullcrap and all of that. At the same time, coming to the apex of the technicals. I mean, it's just the perfect storm kind of lined up, is what it seems like. But back to some TA. Not really super excited here on this action. Like I said, I'm still holding my hedges. I did trim my speculative shorts off yesterday. All of them I took off yesterday, but now I'm just one-to-one hedged on my my hodl positions, if you will. If you don't hedge or don't want to trade future, or if you don't trade futures on BitMEX or Deribit, or I would recommend Deribit, but if you don't trade futures, at least use them to hedge your portfolio. That's what I do. It helps reduce your delta exposure. You know, if you got 10 Bitcoin and then this happens, you know, you're pretty pissed right now. But when you get, excuse me, when you get these moves, I mean, look at this 4-hour RSI. I mean, all the way since 6,300, it's never been above the 21 exponential. And I've said that a bunch of times. If you don't want to get too technical, look at price action, volume, put a 21 and a 55 exponential on your chart, and maybe RSI, and then that's it. And you usually can do fairly well with just those. And as you can see, it was really good for this. And when you break these floors, that's hedging really helps reduce and helps you sleep better, reduces that directional risk, so you're not sitting there like, oh, fuck, man. Fuck, dude, fuck. It's gonna go to fucking 2,000, I know it. I'm gonna be broke, but I'm just gonna hodl forever. Hodling does not really work. And I know a lot of people are gonna hate that, but it's just a fact. Like, you just can't hold forever and then expect that you're just going to make money. At some point, you have to sell to realize those gains, and so hodling doesn't have any measurement to like where you take those gains off, right? You're just supposed to hold them indefinitely, which I think is pretty silly. So, but if you want to hold, at least hedge, right? So when you get market structure telling you and price action telling you now downside is confirmed, why would you still want to hold forever? I don't get it. So just slap, you can put a little, like if you have 10 Bitcoin, you could put, you know, a half a Bitcoin or 1 Bitcoin in Deribit or BitMEX, and then with that you can hedge up to your entire portfolio. You can just go short 10 Bitcoin on there, or maybe you want to have 1 Bitcoin long still. You know, that it really helps risk management and trading, and this whole hodl crap is just real silly. That's what they say in like the traditional markets. Oh, you just buy and hold, dude. You just buy the dip. They always say BTFD, man. You just buy the dip. Yeah, how has BTFD worked for Bitcoin. Also, let's go back to a traditional stock. How about Facebook? How's it held out for Facebook? I mean, look at this. This is just murder fest, because you never know. And then what if you need money? And we're down 40%. A little over 40%. What if you need money when this happens and you hodled forever and maybe you bought back here? Only lucky if you bought way back here, then you'd be okay, but it's too subjective, and you just never know what you're going to need financially in the future. So hedging and preserving capital, I think, is a way better approach. At least that's what I do now, and that's also why I didn't lose all of my money on that oil trade, alternative thinking, and Transfix. I talked to you about that a little bit too. No, dang phones, all these scams. All right, let me turn that ringer off. There we go. Okay, so I wanted to show you all this Bitcoin futures, something that is notable in volume, that is showing a little bit of capitulation. Structure is the futures on the CME. Look at all massive record volume on the CME futures right here. While we're getting, you know, big dildos, red. Actually, mine are white, but most of the time they're red for people. This is big dillies all in your face, just right there. But we are getting coinciding volume, so this is a good sign for the futures. It does seem like a lot of people are. That's right, Tyler. That's a good one. It does look like a lot of people are scooping this bottom up here in the futures market, or they're getting even extra super short. So it's hard to tell right now, and you never know just based off volume alone. This is mostly sell volume here. You can see that they're white and not green. So this could be a lot of people piling on. I know a friend of mine that works closely with Wall Street and stuff says a lot of his Wall Street buddies piled into shorts in the 4,000s. So that's kind of funny because, you know, they're even catching the very end of the move. I know a lot of people think that Wall Street is like super smart, but they're just people like everybody else, man. They really are. Looks like a dumpster. It's a dumpster fire. It really does. The whole market looks like a damn dumpster fire. Shorts picking up a little bit, and you had that really weird sell-off before this happened. I'm not even sure what the shit happened there. I'm pretty much, I don't think I'm even gonna look at these anymore. I don't find any like kind of value. It's just really weird. All these shorts dump and then they're getting pumped. I don't know. I'm gonna chalk it up to wasted brain energy at this moment. Yeah, it's a Tesla fire. It's a dumpster fire. I was getting ahead of myself. But Tesla, not for Tesla. Look at this. Can't phase Tesla. I know I'm kind of digressing here, but that's okay. Yeah, look. Market's down. Everything's selling off. Bitcoin, oil, whatever. Nope, not Tesla. Tesla's like, what's up? What's up, bitches? I'm Elon. Can't fuck with me. All right. In and around. That's right, Tyler. All up in and around it. So tasty. All right, let's go to Ethereum. Jeez, Ethereum. Talking about dumpster fires. Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't want to do Bitcoin pair. I'm going to do the dollar. Let's go to the dollar. Holla. Just absolute death. Just chop. Look at that. Chopping down this channel that we've been watching. Kept getting rejected at the middle. I mean, it just can't get no love. If y'all listen to this a lot, you know I don't like Ethereum. I think there's going to be way better projects out there that do the same type of thing. But, you know, here's Ethereum looking real bad. Still no support in sight. We are getting a little bit of capitulation volume here on this one. Kind of like we just showed on the futures on Bitcoin with the record volume. So that is a good sign. So maybe people are finding some value here in the 130-ish area. That does go over here to this bottom. And this consolidation in these tails, you know, is all about in that same area. I don't know. I don't like it. You know, maybe we get like a little relief bounce here. That definitely seems like it's in the cards. Now, how far will that go? Let's get an idea with some Fibonacci. So you can throw a fib on there, and if you see the halfback is about 172, 618 is 184. roughly. So lots of times though in bear markets like this, dead cat bounces is what lots of people call them. They usually can't get up, mostly without Viagra. No, I'm just kidding. They mostly can't get up to the 3.8, and it's really usually tough to get to the halfback, which is the 0.5 there. So that's something I'll be kind of watching here over through the weekend. I do think that with all of the crazy FUD and everyone just talking mad crap, like just everyone's coming out of the woodworks. Craig Wright like went on a tweet storm for like 2 weeks just talking shit. You know, that guy has done worse for the crypto space, and I didn't hate him that much until recently. It's just like, dude, you know, shut the hell up and go do something else. It's just really weird. Like I said earlier, the timing of all this and trying to attack Bitcoin Cash and your Satoshi. I mean, what a freaking joke. All right, Ethereum, Litecoin, their chart is looking very similar here. Coming right here at the bottom of this channel. So yeah, it is likely that we kind of will be basing here for a little bit. Let's see on the hour on Litecoin. Yeah, so the bears have lost momentum on the hourly on Litecoin. Not on the 4 hour at all. So yeah, on the, let's see, and then we are at the 21 exponential too. So Litecoin is showing some interesting price action here. And I know a lot of people are already probably, I haven't heard it yet, but I can hear the echoes. It's an inverted head and shoulders, guys, you know? No, it's not. It's not one of those. I swear, crypto Twitter will just do that. And it's in traditional markets too. Like, they'll just say like this right here. This just little movement action. I joke with some of my trading buddies about this all the time. It's like, oh, look, dude, it's totally a head and shoulders pattern. You see it? It's right there. It's like, get that shit out of here. Silly crypto Twitter. Alright, so Litecoin is actually looking okay. Getting a little bit relief there. And the bears finally getting into the weak zone. They haven't been into the weak zone since the 18th. And they did go into the weak zone just for a quick second right here on the 17th, about a week ago before this last dump. So, do keep that in mind. Keep an eye out on this DMI here, 1 hour, see if they get back up here into the power zone, which I kind of feel like they're going to. 4 hour, you are getting some divergences, but it's nothing to get excited about yet. We need to see some divergences on the daily, which we do not have. We will need probably another week or so to start seeing those, if they're going to show up. I'm not saying they are. I'm not a permabull. Like all these, like most people just like, oh, you just buy here, it's good. Oh shit, well I mean buy here, it's good. Well, I'm gonna buy it at 25 now. I mean, when you look at these charts, I mean, these still got lots of room to go to the downside. Even in, let's see, a Fibonacci tracement. Oh god, we're way below all of them. Yeah, so we're kind of in no man's land a little bit here with this price action. So look for maybe a little relief bounce here, but definitely not getting long. I mean, look where the daily 55 is, kind of here with this mid part of the channel. I mean, you're talking like, that's all the way up to 50 bucks. I mean, shit. That's a big run. So don't get excited. Not quite yet. We're close. I think we're close, but we're not quite there. Let's go run through some other coins. EOS, y'all know I like EOS. Totally got murdered on this trade. I guess we put this on a little while ago. I barely remember this, but yeah, here you go. Total red dillies in and around your mouth. That one was a killer. Of course, every long that you had back in early November is going to get murdered, unless it was Tether, I guess. It was okay. But here we are getting way up here by the 50s too on the daily. So we're kind of seeing the same type patterns across the board in the market. So that's good. That's a good sign for like capitulation coming soon. But I think, you know, if we go back to Bitcoin real quick, and then I'll dive back into that. I just wanted to point this out while I have it on my mind. You know, we are coming up on this trend line here, this gray trend line, and that goes, you know, all the way back to the 15 lows. So that is an interesting spot. I do know we broke that longer one, but this is a, you know, different trend line, so that's interesting coming up right here. 42 is hardcore support on Bitstamp price, probably about 45 and change on Bitfinex price, depending on what you use. But on Bitstamp, like 42 below that, we're gonna the Bears will re-engage with power. Technically speaking, that is kind of what I'm seeing. But again, it's being very extreme here. That's why I took off a lot of my all my speculative long or shorts, because man, I am just all over the damn place today. I'm a little rusty, guys. Sorry. I took off all my shorts on that one. I'm getting excited too. Thanksgiving's tomorrow, so I'm gonna eat all up this turkey and shit, you know, and dressing, and it's like my favorite holiday. Drinking beer, hanging out with the fam, eating food. I mean, doesn't get much better than that. And probably some other party favors too, you know. But anyway, yeah, so that's interesting, this trend line here. But what I wanted to bring up, why we went back to this chart, is this big pump. Anyone that bought, like seriously, if you literally bought all the way up into September and August last year, you're at break even now. I feel like the market is going to want to wash these people out even. And then that gets to the scary part, where the beginning of 2017 was only about $1,000. So, you know, gosh, that is a very real number that we could go to, 1,000 to 2,500, like in this range here, which is also about where this trend line is. That is definitely a real possibility. But right now, I think we're going to find some decent support, excuse me, in 42 range. So just kind of keep an eye on that, like we always like to do. Look at those exponentials, you know, on the 1 hour, on the 4 hour, especially if we don't get above the 21 exponential, we are just getting ready for another. Gosh, if this is another bear flag that's forming, guys, look at this. If this is another one, you've got boom, boom, and I know that's the sloppiest bear flag thing ever, but I'm just, you know, doing it for real fast. A measured move from that is low 3,000s. Would love to see that. Transfix, I think you said that earlier. That 3K, that's the next measured move if this is another bear flag formation, which it's totally setting up to be one. That would actually give 5 waves too. I'm not a huge wave guy. Alternative thinking might like this. You go here, 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 right? Something like that. Waves aren't my favorite thing, just food for thought. I know a lot of people like them. They're too subjective for me. Alright. 3K bounce, I like that. We also could bounce here. That would be perfect though, man, that 3K. That's about right... Oh, gosh. Thought I had the drawing tool. Yeah, that's about right there. So, you know what, Trans? Let's go ahead and put a little box there. A little target box. Bam. There you go. Little Target El Boxo. Alright. Let's see if we can get there. I'm not going to put it in red. Let's put it in a different color. We've seen enough red, haven't we? Jesus. Alright, let's do it in just some orange. Alright, yeah, so there you go. That would be great. I would definitely be getting leverage long in this area for sure. I'm tempted. I am tempted. I won't lie. I'm tempted to do it here, but technicals aren't there yet. So I'm trying to stick with them. I didn't do that in the last week or so. And some of my friends out there, Transfix knows. Probably AT knows. Gosh. Speak Tyler. I'll tell you. Red dildos from oil were all up in my mouth. That was not very nice. Alright, let's go back to EOS. Dollar. EOS. Murder Fest. Look at this. Lows. We're below the lows from the entire 2018 year. You know, and this is the scary part of some of these coins, is like before they pumped, I mean, some of their bases are all the way like to $1. And, you know, that's freaking another 70% down from here. Oh, God, that's scary. That's scary just to say, right? Let me extend this channel here. Maybe it looks like we're kind of at the top of this channel now. Whoa. Yeah, so we are kind of coming here on the top of this. I don't think this channel really matters anymore, so I'm actually just going to get rid of it. It is irrelevant. Still, so far away from the exponentials. Probably get something like this happening here. I'm not buying really any altcoins yet. I really want to. I really do. But I'm going to wait until this weekend is over, probably into next week, and see. There's still going to be good prices. I do think going through and finding real value in the crypto space, and you know, I know a lot of people might argue that's an oxymoron, but some of these projects are legit. I do think EOS is one of them. I mean, the fact that they also have $4 billion, you know, they can do quite a bit of stuff with that. All right, let's go to the private coin. Oh no, XRP, and then we'll go to privacy coins. XRP was looking real good for a while. Arguably, it still looks okay. It's making this little kind of symmetrical triangle here. Oh my goodness. Come on, laggy computer. It's making this kind of form of a, you're so jealous. Well, okay, well, you have some interesting fetishes then. Touche, cool, man. Get it in. But yeah, you got this symmetrical triangle forming. You could call this some type of a flag for sure, you know, like this. If that was the case and it did break out of either side, let's just go into the middle of the range. Oh god, that looks like death. I mean, that's all the way back to the teens, breaking down to the downside. And oh my gosh, the lag. And that's only about, that's about 80 cents to the upside, roughly, if this is indeed a flag formation. But yeah, Ripple's been holding up way better than anyone could have thought. And it's actually pissing a lot of the, you know, super moon boys and hodlers that they're like, what the hell, man? What is going on in the market? How is Ripple doing this? Dude, Ripple is a legit thing, y'all. Hate it if you want, but it's for real. You know, they've piloted with Amazon, they've piloted with a lot of big companies. They're no joke, and it will be used to settle money in the future. I mean, they already have lots of banks on board. I mean, this is like a for real project. I'm not sure if it's like a $100 to $300 where a lot of the XRP Moon Boys are calling $100 on Ripple. Jesus, that would be crazy. But hey, anything can happen in this space, especially once the bulls get reunited, which we'll see. But Ripple is centrally controlled by the banksters. Yeah, AT, that's a funny joke, especially if I'm right of who you are. But yeah, whatever, man. Like, who cares? We all still use dollars to pay rent and pay bills and pay all this stuff. The black market in the world uses dollars. Terrorists use dollars. So it doesn't matter. It's like, it's wherever that liquidity is, that's where it's going to be. And Ripple is pretty liquid. Not like Bitcoin, but damn close. It's only about a quarter. Like, if Ripple like went up 3-4x right now from its current market cap, it would be like bigger than Bitcoin, which is pretty damn wild. The dark side, I probably have already been on the dark side, I think. I don't know. I mean, I like Ripple and Bitcoin Cash. I think those are going to outperform when the next bull market comes. But, you know, people make fun of me about that all the time. But, yeah, whatever. So speaking of that, let's go to the Bitcoin Cash ABC. If you didn't know, Kraken and some other people are already declaring that the ABC chain won. Of course it did. Who the hell was going to back Craig Wright? I mean, that's just a big-ass joke. It's laughable. Like, get that shit out of here. If anything, I'm almost like looking at this as a discount to buy Bitcoin Cash. So, kind of liking this setup here. You're getting some support where you see these red horizontals right in this 230 area. So, not looking too bad. 21 exponential is also right here. So, I think this will probably, like, Bitcoin ABC is just going to be the Bitcoin Cash, and no one's going to care about Bitcoin. What does he call it? Satoshi Vision? Like, oh god, it makes me cringe even saying it. But yeah, that is just going to die. It's probably going to go to 0. Like, does anyone actually think that Craig Wright is going to be able to, like, harness a community to get behind him the way he acts and shit? I mean, it's just silly. It really is. So, let's go look at Satoshi's vision. Alright, here we go. Oh gosh, look at that. Falling off a cliff. Already down to $50. Guys, this is going to go lower. It's garbage. I tried to short this. I didn't know how to short it. I couldn't find a place to short it, but I wanted to the day it came out. I had some Bitcoin Cash that got split into SV and ABC, and I sold all of the SV up here around like 150-ish. I was like, get rid of this garbage. And I actually kept the ABC, which is pretty funny. So I like Roger Ver. If you listen to this a little bit, you know, he's done more in the crypto space, probably like on an individual basis, probably more than anyone. I mean, the guy's been around a long time. Yeah, he gets crazy and emotional sometimes, but you know, he is doing good things for the space for sure, overall. And in my opinion, just like, look, Craig Wright, he's so good. What do they call him? Fake Toshi, I think. Pretty wild. Oh, something I did want to mention. Let's put your tinfoil hat on for a second. You know, like Tone Vase and some other people that were putting up, right before all the fork was happening, that were putting up Bitcoin Cash or criticizing anything about Craig. They were like, Tone got banned from live streaming for like a week because of a title of a video. Not even really talking shit about Bitcoin Cash or Craig, but just really, really awkward, this whole fork, and I'm still digesting it, but, you know, this whole fork has been very different than all the other ones. It's like a battle fork is kind of what I'm landing on right now. Very toxic, too, for the space, and so it's okay if you don't agree, like with XLM, Stellar, you know, Caleb forked off of XRP, and was like, I don't agree with you, I'm going to do my own thing. Like, that's cool, but this whole, like, I'm going to attack you and destroy that, and I'm gonna go to Ripple after I destroy Bitcoin Cash. I hope after this, Craig Wright just goes away forever, and we can just stop even mentioning his name. I feel like I'm even giving him credence by just mentioning his name. All right, screw him. Going to privacy coins. Boom. Monero. Ooh, Monero. I haven't looked at Monero since this. $70 price tag. That's probably attracting some buyers right there, I would imagine. Let's look at some internals. Ooh, goodness gracious. Yep, again, same kind of pattern on the internals on all the coins right now, which is a good sign for a capitulation. But yeah, I would really like to see it come down and test this. Like, let's just shave another 50% off. Let's get like $30 to $40 Monero. That would be lovely. Again, pretty lackluster volume over here, if you can see. Nothing like any... pretty much a little bit compared to this back here in September, but pretty boring. Nothing too exciting. Let's zoom in a little bit. 4 hour, yep. We are getting some divergences on the DMI, and nah, not really on the RSI yet. But on the DMI for sure. Usually markets like to move in threes, so one more little push down, and this will set up perfectly, in my opinion, for longs. Not just Monero, but across the board in the crypto space. All right, let's go to Dash. What is this pink line I have drawn on there? Oh, that's just from the highs. Oh, finding support at it. That's kind of interesting. We do have a lot more volume on Dash. Dash actually... How much is that? Let's measure that real fast. Yeah, okay, so it still got hit percentage-wise about the same. Not like seeing ever so slightly divergent. So this one is looking a little bit different. It's pretty neutral, but you do have a lot more volume on this sell-off. Let's go to the daily. Where's this peak here? Damn, that's all the way at 20 bucks still. Oof. See, sometimes looking at these long-term charts, guys, it scares me. I'm not gonna lie. Finding a little support on this trend line. I guess you could say it broke out of it, and it's retested it twice. Yeah, you know, maybe this is a good spot. I don't know. I'm not touching it quite yet. We need Mama Bear to turn around, but starting to get pretty attractive. I do like Dash a lot. They advertise like a mofo. I've seen an ad on a overseas flight on the back. In the little screen, if you've flown overseas, they have little screens in the back of the chair to watch movies and crap like that. Let's see. Raven Coin. Let's look at Raven Coin, because I know everybody was liking Raven Coin. That was a good one. I didn't get the beginning part of this. I just did a little scalpy scalp. But Jesus got bled out. Everyone thought it was the shit. It's going to replace everything up in here. It's like, no. No, it's not. It's not the new Bitcoin. Sorry. We are printing some pointed controls here. Those are, if you don't know what that is, that's using volume profile by session. And it's actually better called market profile in traditional markets. Volume profile is the one where it's like over here on the side, and it's got all the bars. Market profile is more kind of what I'm using here, and it makes pointed controls for each daily session. So we are starting to get some stacking here the last several days, or the last couple days on most of the coins. But, you know, this could just be a little bit more pause distribution before the next leg lower. I'm in kind of a no trade zone at the moment. All right, let's go over to equities, because I know y'all love some equities. Yeah, if y'all want me to look at any tickers too out there in the chat box, let me know. I'll get to those after I fan through the equities real quick, because they warrant some attention. Look at this. Y'all know before that we were riding this 21 exponential. It's getting like long exposure on it. Then we did have this little break. We discussed that the trend possibly could be over, and it was looking kind of weak. This is a very, I can't remember this candle pattern, but this is a very bearish pattern, and just making lower highs, lower lows, staying below the 21, and then it was murder fest on the 10th. As you can see, just slapped through, bearish engulfing most of the year's action, and we go to a 3-day, you can see it a little bit better. It's trying to find support on our purple 144, but on the 3-day, that is. We'll see if that can hold true. We're pretty much giving up all the gains for the whole year in equities. We are negative on some of them. Actually, I think we're negative on all of them now. Pretty wild. A lot of people did not expect that. I didn't expect such a swift move. Hindsight's always 20/20, of course. But you know, there were a lot of signs that were pretty weak. One of them was the DAX, which is the German index. Look at this. Never even made a new high for the whole year. It's one of the other larger markets in the world, besides like the S&P and US markets. So, ouch. That was a good one. Transportation index also was like that. And most importantly, financial stocks had a nice super pump here. Never made new highs again. Looks a lot like the DAX chart. You are getting some little inverted head and shouldered patterns, though, in the equities. I'm seeing quite a bit. So that's an interesting, not on the majors, but on the sector ETFs, XLU, XLPs, XLs. Well, not XLU, utilities, which I mentioned earlier. Let's go ahead and show you that. Look at that. Can't phase utilities, which this is really odd price action, because if they're going to hike rates, which is like a 90% chance in December, here in about 3 weeks, you know, that's higher rates is bad for utilities, but they've been rallying, you know, all through the damn dump. Pretty wild, pretty odd. I'm watching that one closely because it's kind of messing with me a little bit. I'm like, huh, there's something going on. All right, back to the ES. Let's look at it on the weekly. So on a weekly, we're below the 55. We are kind of in a no trade zone for me. I'll probably get short if we break around 2600. 2640 is my local area that I'm watching. And to the upside, as y'all know, I love the 55 and 21. That's coinciding with kind of the top of this range, you know, in the 27s. I'm going to call it about 27, 20-ish, excuse me. Let's go to monthly. This is where it's interesting. Monthly. Right on the 21 exponential. Let me go ahead and erase these lines because they are irrelevant now. And you do have this longer term trend line from 2011 sell-off that brutal summer sell-off. I think this is kind of some of the worst action that we've seen since then on a bunch of metrics. And here you go, finding support at the 21 monthly exponential. Now that is definitely a line in the sand if we're going to go into a full-fledged bear market in equities. This could easily be just a little pullback, a little scare. Everyone got kind of freaked out. You got tax selling. You got, you know, covering. A lot of people had to cover. Oil kind of led this, going from $75 to low 50s recently. I mean, that is a massive move in oil. If you don't know, one contract you hold on that on the futures, that is about a $23,000 move on one contract. And y'all probably have read some headlines that, you know, some funds went bust on that. Major hedge funds that manage hundreds of millions of dollars went bust. And one of the main ones that's been pumping is I think it's called option sellers or something. But their clients actually owe money. Man, now how fucked up is that? That's why you should just manage your own shit, right? Transfix went to XTC Cabaret on his he sure did. He sure did. I remember that. There you go. You just clarified who you are, alternative thinking. Of course, that's your name, too. Good times. Yeah, that was a fun time, guys. Transfix, that was super fun. Had a good time on that one. Man, I don't think I've been to a strip club since that day, actually. How funny. I'm definitely not going now after I got raped by oil. So, all right. On the daily, though, we are closing below the longer-term 377 exponential. So that's not a great sign. I imagine for the rest of this week, tomorrow markets are closed, and then there's only a half day on Friday. We'll probably just go sideways, be really boring, no one will care, and then the real action will happen next week. Let's go to tech stocks, because... oh my gatos. Yeah, look at this, guys. This is just absolute, just terrible. Blood everywhere. We are finding support on the 850 longer term moving average, but that's a newer one that I've been using, so I'm not putting too much weight on that yet, especially for equities. But yeah, same thing, kind of the same area as the ES. Let's go to the 4 hour. Look at some internals. Oh gosh, 4 hour doesn't even have any divergence yet. Bullish divergence. You do have it on the daily though. Boom, boom, boom. And you've got boom, boom, boom. So there is some divergence printing, and there was a little blip above 50. So, you know, this move is just so damn big and crazy that I could see a little relief bounce from here for sure. But like I said, I'm pretty much in a no trade zone. For most markets, it's so weird that they're all very similar technically. Very odd to me. That just really striking me. I'm curious to maybe if anyone wants to chime in on that a little bit about, you know, with their quick thoughts on, you know, how is everything just selling off, and there's just maximum fear right now. For kind of a whatever, I'm not even sure what the reason is. It's just there. I guess you don't really need a reason, but let's go look at some of the fangs. We did Facebook death. You know, this could be setting up for like an island reversal type pattern. A little early to tell. Let's see if I go to, yeah, not really any great divergences seen on the RSI or the DMI. Very confused, just in death mode, staying below the 21 exponential. When stuff starts trending like that, it's almost best just to use the 21. Let's go to Netflix. Same type thing, just absolutely murder fest. Let's not forget, dude, only a month ago, these things were, you know, almost double what they are now. Pretty crazy to think. Netflix, monkey hammered, trying to get support at the 377. It's not happening. Oh, AT, you're a funny guy. Yeah, it's because I'm only looking for trans, dude. Duh. I only go to like 4th Street and 3rd Street on Warehouse District. Come on. Yeah, just the trannies. Come on, dude. That's all you need in life, right? About to just move to Thailand. All right. Let's go back to some charts here. We're talking about tranny hookers. Apple, that's what I wanted to look up. Murder Fest. After it announced earnings, the market was hoping that the iPhone could save the day. It did not. Murder Fest. You know what's interesting, too? On that last earnings call, Apple said they're not going to announce the unit sales anymore for their products, which is fucking weird as shit. Like, who does that? Yeah, I don't see much relief here yet. We are getting into the extremes, getting close to 50. And it looks like in Apple, it's a little bit lower. No, you got 50 back over here. Let's get some capitulation across the board here. That would be great in all markets. They all are kind of similar patterns. If you look, I'm all like pointing at the screen like you can see it. Durr. And you can see here we're getting those massive stretches to the upside. So this is just a rare moment in time. If you're an option seller or option trader, selling premium right now is juicy. Super juicy. I think we can look at, what's the last FANG? Facebook, Apple, Amazon. And then the Goog. Oh, finding better support at the long-term moving exponential. Wow, I don't even have horizontals on Amazon. What the hell am I doing? What the hell am I doing? Getting to pretty good divergence on the daily on Amazon, so that's interesting. And finding here could be another island reversal bar. Does have good volume. So, you know, entering, I might look at some long Amazon on Friday, depending what happens, with the little stop here around 14.5. Looks pretty decent. All right, let's go to oil. Let's go to the dildo king. The everything bubble is popping. Yeah, it kind of did pop a little bit. Now, I guess the question is if we actually go into full-blown recession, right, Transfix? I have a hard time believing that we're going to go into that from this point in time. You got tax, all the tax stuff goes into effect next year for the 2019 year, which is going to reduce taxes a lot. I can't remember if it was Apple or some big company. It was a tech company. They announced a bunch more buybacks too. So I don't think, you know, this is kind of like some weird random fear that just popped up and people were just freaking out, extra compounded. And now I just think that maybe we'll get to that point of the capitulation here soon and maybe do like 2000 type bubble. Oh, actually, I'll just show you that chart real quick. I made one earlier. I shared it with a buddy of mine earlier. Actually, shit, it's not on this one, is it? Damn it. Damn it. All right. Well, sorry, but there is some correlation to the the Nasdaq move and the S&P moves from the .com bubble to right now, where we might just be like really violently chopping from here on out. We'll go up 20, down 10, up 30, down 20, and just kind of do an insane distribution range for about a year or so. Anyway, back to oil. Gosh, yes, look at those. It's the big red dildo chart. That's right, AT. It sure is. It's the big murder your face, blowout hedge funds. Everything sucks. And it wasn't just this move that did it. It was also... Oh, dang it. Wow, that's actually futures contract. B pound versus New Zealand dollar. All right, that's not what I wanted. I actually wanted the nat gas futures. That combined with this, talk about a insano just rape fest. Double dildo dipping. I like that, Tyler. That's good. Yeah, I mean, this is just insane moves on the both sides. Especially because most energy just got destroyed. Heating oil, gasoline, etc. But not nat gas. I guess because it's going to be an extra cold winter, so everybody's freaking out, man. Yeah, we're way up here in the 50s, though, so this is probably going to get some cool-off time once the markets normalize, which I think should happen. I think it will happen by the end of this year. I mean, shit, it's already pretty much December. You get the famous little Christmas rally and get a little stabilization. Let's go back to big red dildos, though, or white dildos in this case. Yeah, so just no love. I mean, there wasn't any opportunity to even get out on this. I mean, you're talking... I mean, look at this action, y'all. This is just murder fest. Hard to manage, super tough, unless you got short. Unless you got short, like, anywhere up here, maybe when it crossed this 55, you know, which wouldn't have been the worst. Definitely on this purple exponential. I feel real stupid on my proprietary thing that I use for my personal stuff. I had a short signal at like $71 or something, and I just totally ignored it. Didn't adjust. Didn't do anything. That was a big mistake by me. I got slapped with some. I didn't take discipline. I didn't disciplinary action like I should have, and I got really murdered. And it's pretty funny because it only takes one of those, right? I was up really good for the year in this brokerage account specifically. I was talking to Transfix about it, and AT as well. And, you know, it was all ego. It really was. And just like disbelief almost. Like, no, it's going to bounce. I got this. But you don't. You don't know shit. I don't know shit. It can just keep going as it did. I mean, it was major capitulation at the conference in Vegas last week. You know, I was just walking around, and this one dude was like, "Oh my God, did you see oil? It's down like 8%." And I was like, "Oh, crap." And I was like, and that's done for me. I already knew when that guy said that, and I shouldn't do that because the risk exposure that I had on that position was one I wouldn't open up normally ever in that account. So it's kind of weird. I was battling with myself. It was a really good learning experience. I reread a book called Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. It's not about like technicals or anything. It's all psychology. The whole book is just about psychology. If you haven't read that or audibled it or whatever, you must do that. It is essential, in my opinion, to becoming a good trader. And I had read it before, and I just needed, you know, I just kind of had to rehash it, you know, after getting murdered like that. And I was just like, all right, you did it again, you fuckhead. So it's pretty much what I was telling myself. But hey, it was a little bit better than the times I traded before, because in the past I would have probably lost and blown out my entire account, but I didn't do it this time. So that's pretty good, I think. But yeah, just adhere to your stops, adhere to your trade plans. When you first put trades on, when you make the trade plan, just for easy numbers, you buy at 100, you're looking for 110, you stop it out at 95. Before you had that trade on, you had no bias. You had no confirmation bias. Your head was clean, so to speak. And you know, that you need to stick to those, because that's usually, you're right usually in those. And when the market goes against you in price action and everything tells you that you're wrong, that's it. And you need to adhere to your plan before that you could have been wrong, right? With the stop analogy there. And like, you just got to adhere to that crap, or it will bite you in the ass. It's easy to make money. It's hard to keep it. Like, trading is actually pretty easy, but it's all in that psychological part that bites everybody. And like I said, Trading in the Zone, check it out. It's an easy read. It's not a super long book, but man, is it chocked up with some great information on how you need to kind of rewire your brain. Because if trading, you know, if everyone could trade, everyone would be making money. But there's another factor in there, and that is the emotional capital and the control of that emotional capital. Very tough. We've talked about it in a lot of streams before. That emotional capital, in my opinion, is more important than your actual physical capital. Because the emotional capital, if it gets strained in a certain way, you start making real stupid decisions. And that's what I got trapped into. You know, even on the streams when oil was busting out at 71, we were calling longs. And then, you know, I'm like, oh, I should probably adjust it and do that. And I just got double slapped on both of those sides. And there was also a couple of funky things my broker did. We won't go into that here, but, you know, yeah, just kind of crazy. Another thing that I learned, too, been traveling, was gone and out of town for a little bit and away. from my command center, and I prefer to trade at my desktop. I don't really like trading on the laptop that much. It's kind of like the phone to me. But anyway, and at the conference, actually, I was talking to a trader there, and she was mentioning this, and it really resonated with me that whenever you're away from your command center, whatever that command center is, however you like to trade and to do your setups, when you go on vacation and you're going to go away from that and you're trying to focus on other things and you're learning, you know, having new experiences, etc., you're not going to be able to manage your portfolio like you do when you're at home and you're in your realm. When you go out into a different realm and change it up, it's foolish to think that you'll be able to manage the same way that you do when you're at your house or at your office or however you do it. With your main, like I said, your main command center, how you your base. It's foolish and impossible to manage your portfolio when you go away from that for more than, let's say, you know, a few days. If that happens, and you need to leave, my new thing, what I'm going to be doing, is reducing all of my positions and risk exposure by at least half at minimum. Because you're going on vacation to have fun, learn stuff, talk to people, hang out, go party, I don't know, whatever you like to do, go to the beach, whatever. You're not trying to sit there and work all the time, and trading is work. This is not an easy game. And I think that trimming that risk exposure when you leave, or maybe you got to move into a new house or something, like when you can't focus on it because of, you know, exterior things, like you need to adjust for that. And that's something that I really learned this time, because it's not the first time that it's bit me this way when I've traveled. It's probably like the 800th time. No, I'm just kidding. But it is a lot of times. And so, just, you know, in short, for that one, if you're moving, going away, doing something important, working on a big project at work or something, you know, trim your exposure a little bit. The markets are not going anywhere. As I say all the time, opportunity is infinite. Your capital is finite. Don't forget that. And I did forget that, and it cost me a pretty penny this year. And that one account for my oil dildos, it ended up costing me all of my gains for the year and about 40% losses on that account for the year. And that's probably not going to be very recoverable, considering there's only another month or so in the trading year. Yeah, so don't do that. Don't do what I did. I hope y'all can learn from that. All right. Enough looking at these big-ass dildos. Real quick on oil, though. I am expecting some type of relief rally on this a little bit. Y'all know oil is very two-sided. Welcome to the club. Oh, yeah, I know alternative thinking. I know. We have talked about that at length. Most of the time, though, you leave the club because you blame the market or other things or exterior variables, when it's really all boils down to you. The market didn't make you buy at 100. The market didn't make you buy oil at 70 or Bitcoin at 20,000 and make you hold it all the way down to today. Like, it didn't do that. That was like your decision. And it's like trading is therapy pretty much, and you just need to adhere to your first trade plan and just stick to it. And that's it. And that's really what trading is what I've been learning the last handful of years, is make your plan and fucking stick to it. The military uses like the 7 Ps, if you're familiar with that. It is proper planning and preparation prevents piss poor performance. And it's very true. Trade your plan, or sorry, plan your trade, trade your plan. Yeah, so I'm looking for some type of relief here, at least maybe up to like this trend line, or like where these longer term exponentials are, around 60 bucks. So hopefully we're not in something like this, which we definitely could be, back when oil just got bananas and was over 100 bucks and then lost like 60% in 3 months. So do be careful that we could be going into something insane like this move. All right, let's jump over to the gold. Gold's been pretty good, nice and flat, very stable compared to the rest of the market. Not really rallying as much as you would think as a fear trade and insurance to, you know, inflation and fear. But I guess a lot of people in the markets are saying that the dollar is going to lose value. Inflation's not going to be as high, plus this big oil move that's been in the market crashing and all this stuff. You know, it might stall the Fed out on a December hike. That would be very interesting. I'm looking forward to that here in a few weeks to hear the answer for that, but it wouldn't surprise me if they pull back on that. Not sure what that will do for the market. I would like to lean bullish for the market, but you know, this market has been really flipping its head and messing with people's heads. I mean, this is it's been very tough to trade unless you're a very aggressive and nimble trader, or you sell premium and options. You're doing very well with those two things, trading tight ranges. But anyway, this looks good. Gold looks nice. GDX popped pretty hard today. I was telling my buddy earlier that one of my best positions that I've had in this market is Hecla Mining. It's a miner that I really like, and which is hilarious because, you know, miners, you're like, we're just buying miners right now. Yeah, so I've been like scooping up in here in these dips down, and I've been doing options on these because surprisingly they have really tight options markets. So I'm playing far out though, like, you know, 6 months plus and even over a year on those. And I am doing most of those for credits too. If you don't know a lot about options trading, that's not really going to make sense to you, and I don't have time to jump into all that. To check out a place called tastytrade.com. They have a lot of resources to just try to get a hold of the basics there. They're probably one of the best free sources of option information that I know of. So yeah, back to the GC, to the gold. Gold's looking pretty good. I like this little pattern it's making. It's in this nice little channel. You can kind of see right here. Or maybe you can't, because, man, my computer is glitchy. It's not really the best looking channel. It's more like kind of opening up, but whatever. It's looking pretty decent. Finding support at the 55 and the 21 while it's just swinging around it for the last month or so. Really liking this price action, and you can see that in GDX. GDX is made this inverted head and shoulders that we were talking about. It is a pretty ugly one, but those are like usually the better ones that aren't so obvious. Popped up into this kind of target range of 20, and now we're still consolidating. I think this is going to have some legs, especially if the oil gets, if the dollar gets any weakness at all. Metals should be pretty good, but I do think in the long term, metals probably have slight more downside, but I think they're going to be great performers in the next couple of years. So I am scaling into long metal positions over time here. Another one that's interesting, if you don't know about it, is Seabridge. It's a miner out in Canada. They hold lots of gold. I know when they're around like the single mid digits that they have more gold on hand than like the valuation at that price. So just a little food for thought there. All right, let's see, how long have we been streaming? Oh Jesus, man, time flies, doesn't it? What time is it? Real quick, let me see. Any tickers you want me to look at or anything, guys, before I sign off? All right, so speaking of, let's go to the big Mama Bear. All right, let's see what Mama Bear's been doing while we've been doing this stream. It's up a little bit. Nothing, not anything that matters. Just kind of, oh, look at that, though. Actually, it did have a little dump and got bought back up right immediately after to like the low 430s. Now we're up and close to the 45 range, and I am using Bitstamp as the price here right now. But I don't think we're out of the woodworks yet. I wouldn't be surprised if we just get a little bit more sideways action while we go through the holiday season. But anything can happen, as y'all have seen in the last couple of weeks here. Yeah, Pornhub. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's Pornhub for sure. That's a publicly traded company, right? We can go look at that. I guess we could look at oh, here you go. It's XVG. Oh, it's there you go. That's their cryptocurrency. Or they use it or something. Oh, shit, it's not working. Dogecoin Dark. Looks like it's going to the darkness, all the way to the abyss. All right, back over here to Bitcoin, Mama Bear. All right, so trying to find a little base here. We are getting 2 point of controls so far that are stacking on each other at about 4,600 on Bitfinex. But, again, nothing too exciting quite yet. We're barely able to stay above the 30 on the 4 hour. And as I said earlier in the stream, you have the daily. And it is at massive extremes, just like a lot of the other charts. But that doesn't mean it can't get more extreme. Like opening positions right here, to me, is very dangerous. Because the move that's going to come out of this consolidation is either going to be another bear flag, which we did a target earlier. And that was going down to here in the low 3,000s, even into the 2,000s. And that's the measured move there. So I don't think whatever comes out, excuse me, whatever comes out of this is going to be swift to the upside or downside, and it's very tough to say right now which way that is. Again, look at the hourly for clues, guys. Definitely the 4 hour, you know, with the DMI, if we get some any of the bulls or the bears in the power zone. On the hourly right now, we did just go neutral on both of them. The one thing that is kind of decent, though, is the bears are neutral, or the bulls are neutral with the bears on the 1 hour too. So, like, that's the, if you wanted any bullish kind of news, that's the crappiest bullish news you could get, is right there. But right now, I kind of just got this boxed in for the range that we're in. Where are we at? I don't want to do it on here because I want to do it on Bitstamp because of the futures. It coincides more with the futures price. So I'm kind of pretty much looking at the top of that candle, and I'm going down to about 42, which is about where these wicks are. This is going to be my no trade zone, and I'm not going to do anything trade-wise until we get out of that zone. I am researching and looking up tickers for possibly buying on this dip, and, you know, like projects that are actually badass, I think, in the crypto space. I'll name one of them real quick that I'm looking at is Wax, Worldwide Asset Exchange. If you know anything about the skin game with video games in Steam and all this other stuff where people trade and buy skins for, you know, whatever game, Counter-Strike, blah, 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 what your gun looks like, outfits, all this crazy crap. Very large industry. The guys, one of the biggest players in the industry is named Opskins, and this is their creation. And they already have been around for, I think, like 7 years or something, 5 to 7 years. They do like 15 or 20K. Last I checked, it's probably more now. They do about 15, 20K a day in sales on that website, so that's pretty interesting. This is one I am watching ever so closely to start loading up on, because I think in the long term it will be a badass play. Also, y'all know I love the BitShares. You go over here to BitShares, has been totally murdered, getting to Bitcoin lows pretty much all the way back here, but that is not the longest term chart of BitShares. They've been around a lot longer than that. Let me pull up the Polo. There you go. So here, way on the, just in the no man's land. If you never use BitShares, it is a DEX, a real decentralized exchange, and it's pretty badass. Even with all this turmoil and price crashing, you can borrow BitUSD on the platform. There hasn't been any issues on there. It's been running stable this entire time. And, you know, lots of major exchanges can't even say that, i.e. BitMEX, which is garbage. Bitcoin moves $100, $200, and it's like, overload, system overload. Go to Deribit if you're still using BitMEX. And also on BitMEX, if they find out you're a U.S. citizen, boom, banned, and all your funds are gone. That's lame. So I recently have completely removed everything from there. It actually happened with Tone Vase recently. I don't think they took his money. They let him pull his money out, which is really nice of them. Because some people, that's not the case. Since he was so big, you know, has such a following, they didn't want to make a big deal about that. But they did block his account, and he had like 700 affiliates or something, so he doesn't get any of that revenue anymore. So that kind of sucks. So I don't even want to play with that anymore. Deribit's way better technology, like 20 times better, and there's options on there too, so that's cool. Alright guys, with that said, Peter Shift, oh god, the biggest tool in the freaking... He's the worst. I hate that guy. I don't hate very many people, but I really hate that guy. After I talked to him too several times, or 2 times at 2 different conferences, I was like, oh my god, this piece of shit. But yeah, so with that said, guys, there's a couple ideas that I'm kind of following. Look for value in some of the bigger projects that you like. A good one to see that, if you don't know, I'll show you here, is Crypto Miso. It looks at the GitHubs, and you can change the time frame here up to 12 months, and you can see like who's been working on stuff, right? How many commits have there been? So, you know, if there's more commits in building on the project, I think it's more fair to say that, you know, there's actually, you know, value there if they're still working on it. So there's a couple on the top here, which is really funny, especially if you go to the longer term, like 12 months. I don't even think Bitcoin's on here until you get to like 20s or something like that, which is pretty wild. Yeah, I don't even see it. There it is, 24, yeah. So, you know, I guess you don't really have to work on it that much, but this is a really good site if you didn't know about it. There you go. So, with that said, guys, appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for the chatting. If you find any value, please subscribe. Hit that bell. Tap of the like. And we'll be signing off. And I'm going to try to make a video tomorrow. You know, it's Thanksgiving and all that shit, so I might not. But hey, crypto's open all the time. It's not like these stupid equity markets closing tomorrow. What the hell? But we are getting to the point, though, where I'm starting to be intrigued by the prices of some of these coins. I'm just not quite yet, because just because it went down, let's go here on the on one of these longer ones. This is like, if you look at a year, just because something goes down 90% doesn't mean it can't go down another 90%. Don't get trapped into that thinking. It always can go lower. Alright, much love, guys. I will talk to y'all soon, and maybe I'll see a couple of y'all tonight at the meetup, hopefully. The Wednesday meetup over there off Barton Skyway. Or, I'm sorry, Barton Springs. I'm going to go ahead and get ready for that and start heading over there. Alright, ladies and gents, peace. This is No Noise Research, signing off. Z-Rex, out.